Well, it's great that they're disclosing numbers, and so there's something to look at, which means they're probably preparing in the future to be a public company. So it's better to have those numbers dissected now than the moment you go on the exchange. It's really hard to understand what they mean by bookings and revenue, because they may mean gross bookings and net revenue. If you're an enterprise software company and you have 12 million in bookings on an annualized basis, you can only recognize the revenue per month, so that'd be $1 million in revenue, but they don't have subscribers, so I don't know what that is. It may be that the revenue is net of cost to drivers, but without seeing their whole P&L, it's really hard to know.
But do you look at this business as one of the great transfers of wealth from the venture capital community, effectively to all of us as consumers at the moment, in terms of the losses that they seem to be taking on virtually every ride?
It's really hard to see on those numbers how they get to profitability. And I do think that public investors like to see growth, so we'll see how the revenue is growing, which they're saying is growing a lot. But investors ultimately want to see a real business that's sustainable and does have some profitability over time. They haven't given us that timeline.
More complicated question. Is Uber a criminal enterprise? Is Uber a criminal enterprise? No, I ask it, given the reports we hear almost regularly over the past month about all sorts of activities that could be described as fraudulent in terms of not just dealing with consumers, but how they've dealt with competitors, and whether you think some smart AG out there wants to make a name for himself is going to arrest somebody.
Stealing some of the map software that they put out?
They're stealing software. They're putting out pretending there's fake consumers out there to tell Lyft to get Lyft to pick up people that don't exist. They're potentially hacking or using all sorts of different technology to prevent regulators from being able to find out where they are. I mean, these are things that I imagine somebody's going to have something to say about at some point.
Well, you would expect that a company that depends upon having a good brand and trust as one of their key tenets of doing business, that this would be damaging to both the brand and that trust relationship with all consumers. It probably plays well to Lyft and other contenders. At the same time, I take an Uber.
I do too.
I think the culture is terrible at that company, and it's really amazing that people want to work there.
In terms of the reports of how they treat women, the engineer who wrote that big blog about why she left the company, that's what you're referring to in terms of culture.
People are voting with their feet. And that's what happens with a company like that if you have a bad culture. And overall, a good company in Silicon Valley depends upon having great talent. So it won't be those numbers that train wrecks a company or any of these other antics. It'll be their inability to attract great talent.
Hey there, thanks for checking out CNBC on YouTube. Be sure to subscribe to stay up to date on all of the day's biggest stories. You can also click on any of the videos around me to watch the latest from CNBC. Thanks for watching.